is compassion? Is it empathy? Is it love? Are they all the same thing? Compassion is essentially empathy in action. If you are compelled into doing something out of your empathy for someone, now you are in compassion. Empathy is when you understand the other side and you kind of can recognize their suffering, but you're not really doing anything to alleviate the suffering or to help, but you're just acknowledging and saying, I do understand and I stand with you. But with compassion, you're saying, I stand in your shoes and I am ready to do something. Just like when you, let's say, come face to face with a homeless person and you think to yourself, you know what, they must be hungry. So I will give them some food or some money or clothes or whatever. But if you're passing by and you're thinking, you know what, yeah, I understand. I can probably recognize the suffering because such and such happened to me when I was younger or whatever. But you still keep on going, you don't really do anything. But when you stop and you basically get involved and begin to do something to elevate the suffering, that is compassion. And compassion is a state of being, but not doing. And I will explain what the difference is. You could be acting compassionately, so you are doing something that is compassionate, which can happen today for 1 second or 10 minutes or whatever, and then you get back to whatever it was you were doing before. Or you can be in a state of compassion constantly. Being in a state of compassion is much like, for instance, the sun. The sun shines from within and it shines without. And it doesn't choose where or what to shine. Anything that comes into the sun's reach is lit by the light. That's simple. So the sun does not have to choose that I'm going to light this object as opposed to that one, or I'm going to cast a shadow here and not over there. Being compassion is just in the same way. There is no decision-making process. You do not have to think about, okay, now I'm going to be compassionate to this person. Because then you're making a choice and then you are making a difference between this person and the other. Being in a state of compassion, you are compassionate to everything, everybody, the entire time, and it doesn't matter. So you are compassionate to a 3-year-old today, to a 70-year-old the same day. When you come into contact with a store clerk, when you visit a friend, when you are at work, wherever that you are, just like the sun when it is shining, this compassion is a quality that touches everybody. And it doesn't change with the time of day, and it doesn't change with whatever is happening outside. Why? Because again, it's something that's inherent, it is inside. It's a value that does not depend on any outside factors. For instance, if I am compassionate, but something happens which makes me angry, I come outside of compassion, I am angry, but then I return to it. That's not being compassionate. That is acting. That is doing compassion as opposed to being compassion. And ultimately, life's plan for us all is to reach compassion, for us to be that, which gives us the most peace and blissful state of being when we are compassionate. In being compassionate, one thing that you are not is judgmental. You do not judge people or judge events for what they are. You live in acceptance when you are compassionate. That is not to say that you accept or condone, for instance, violence or evil or suffering. That is to say that you face these events and evil with compassion inside, without being judgmental, which might lead you to anger, rage, hatred, and violence initiating from within yourself. When you are compassionate, you are not angry, you are not judgmental, you are not hateful, you are not in any one of these negative states. You are in a blissful, peaceful state, living your life every day.